In this video, we will introduce you to some recent scientific discoveries that have changed the way we look at the world. An unexplained phenomenon that rocked the scientific community, a discovery that might rewrite the history books, and a 200 million year old natural phenomenon that leaves the scientific community speechless today. Prepare to be amazed and shocked as we reveal these revolutionary new discoveries that may change the way we look at the world and our place in it. The Eye of the Sahara. The Richat structure is also known as the Eye of the Sahara because of its characteristic shape. It is located in Mauritania in the middle of the Sahara Desert near the city of Houadan. It represents concentric circles with a diameter of about 50 kilometers. This gigantic and mysterious geological formation can hardly be seen from ground level. It was only discovered when we began to observe the Earth from space. The worrying thing is that until today, scientists have not revealed the secrets of this discovery. In 1965, during the Gemini 4 mission, astronauts made 62 orbits of the globe and photographed the Earth's surface. After returning to the ground, the scientists began to review the photos for all kinds of huge circular details that could be part of structures provoked by conflicts. Meteorite craters are of great geological importance because they contain much more of the Earth's history. For some time, scientists believed that the Eye of the Sahara was also a crater, but no sufficiently molten rocks have been found to confirm this suspicion. Modern theories suggest that the history of this natural formation is much more complex. The modern doctrine of the origin of the eye. Scientists have many questions about the Eye of the Sahara, but two Canadian geologists seem to have a working theory of its genesis. According to them, the eye began to form about 200 million years ago when the supercontinent Pangaea was separated by plate tectonics. This is also the moment when Africa and South America were cut off from each other. Molten rocks were pushed up to the surface, but they didn't make it all the way to the top. This is how a dome of rock layers was formed, resembling a giant pimple on the skin of the Earth. Fault lines have also formed that surround the eye and cross it. The molten rock has dissolved the limestone near the center of the eye, forming a specific type of rock known as breccias. A little less than 100 million years ago, the Richat structure erupted powerfully. This shrinks the dome, and erosion does the rest of the work, creating the Eye of the Sahara as we know it today. The rings around the eye are made of another type of rock that erodes at different rates. The paler circle near the middle is a volcanic rock formed during the detonation. Modern astronauts love the eye because it is a significant landmark among the monotonous sea of sand of the Sahara. There are many theories, such as that the eye is actually the remains of the famous Atlantis, which Plato tells about and describes as concentric circles of water and land. But if you ask any scientist, they will undoubtedly tell you that the geological history that this formation reveals is far more interesting. Today, the scientific world is trying to unravel this mysterious education that arose in the middle of the desert. Whether it is hiding something in itself or under it, and what exactly is it, it still remains a mystery to this day. Homo Naledi. Parts of an infant skull of an ancient hominid called Homo Naledi have been found in a hard-to-reach crevice in a remote section of South Africa's Rising Star cave system. The find suggests that the archaic type of man deliberately laid his dead in caves. That is, he had a burial practice. An international team, led by paleontologist Lee Berger of the University of Witwatersrand, Johannesburg, has managed to collect 28 fragments and 6 teeth of a child's skull, found in a narrow opening located about 12 meters from the underground chamber where speleologists first discovered the fossils of Homo Naledi in 2015. At a press conference held in Johannesburg, Berger stated that the finds speak of a deliberate, ritualized laying of bodies in caves of the ancient type. There's no predator damage, no signs of an accident. We've come to the conclusion that Homo Naledi deliberately put his dead in this dark chamber. Why that is, we don't know, Berger told CNN. Before we found this, I was saying that this is our defining characteristic. The idea of burying the dead, of ritually burying the body, is an entirely human thing, he concludes. The team described the skull find in 2 papers published in Paleoanthropology. The find probably dates from the same time as the other Homo naledi fossils, that is, from 335,000 to 236,000 years ago. Berger's team suggests that the child died around age 4 to 6, based on the rate at which modern children grow. But that's a pretty rough estimate, since scientists can't say how fast Homo naledi children grew. The new hominid species Homo naledi. Initially, in the cave system in 2015, 1,550 individual parts of 737 different elements of at least 15 individuals of the completely new to us hominid species were found. Despite this extremely large number, the classification of Homo naledi relative to other hominids remains unclear to this day. In addition to similarities with modern Homo sapiens, the species shares characteristics with the ancestor of the Australopithecus, as well as other species that lived even further back in the past, millions of years ago. Most interestingly, the brain anatomy of Homo naledi appears similar to that of Homo sapiens, which may indicate equally complex cognitive ability, that is, the ability to perform very complex actions. At the same time, their anatomy shows that while they were able to walk long distances with a human gait and stride, they were better suited for climbing trees. Although there is no evidence so far that they used stone tools or had any kind of material culture, this species seems to have been skilled enough to create and handle a variety of tools. The mystery surrounding the new hominid species Homo naledi remains unsolved even today. The mysterious craters of Siberia. A massive crater appeared in the Siberian tundra seemingly out of nowhere a year ago. Its dimensions are width 30 meters and depth 20 meters. Things got even more mysterious and strange because the hole is symmetrical and clearly cut. All this is even more ominous if we add the fact that, in addition to this hole, more than 15 such craters have been spotted around Siberia. Information about the first crater dates back to 2013, and in the following years, there are reports of newer and newer, even stranger holes. Scientists have no idea what causes these craters. Theories range from sudden landmass collapses due to the extraction of shale gas in the region, to wild speculations of extraterrestrial intervention. They start with the explanation that there is a lot of shale fuel being extracted on the Yamal Peninsula and extend to theories of falling meteorites, a spaceport for UFOs, as well as secret underground nuclear weapons storage and bunker systems. In 2020, Evgeny Shuvlin, a leading scientist at the Institute of Sciences and Technologies in Skolkovo, told CNN that there is no scientific consensus on what exactly is happening in Siberia. Craters are usually discovered during routine flights that have nothing to do with scientific research. Now, the latest technology is coming to the rescue, and it is assumed that climate change is responsible for the openings, as well as a number of other disasters. The task of figuring out what causes these strange craters involves drones, satellites, and artificial intelligence that compiles 3D models of the soil and environment. The holes have also previously been linked to greenhouse gases and the release of methane in the uppermost layers of permafrost. But there has been no evidence of this. In 2021, Shulin and his teams are now convinced that climate change is not only causing floods and extreme heat in certain parts of the world, but is also responsible for the strange craters across Siberia. The truth is that not only China, Japan, Europe, and the USA are experiencing some of their hottest summers, but the same applies to the Siberian tundra. Shulin and his team happened to observe an extremely well-defined and symmetrical crater, which proved to be caused by a release of methane. He pointed out to CNN that the flow of Earth mass towards the bottom, which is characteristic of such holes, has not even started there, which allows for careful observation and research. In addition, for the first time, experts managed to get a drone into the crater, which managed to reach a depth of 10 to 15 meters. And yet, studies of these holes are at a very, very early stage, Shulin emphasizes. What he fears is that such craters will move closer and closer to populated areas and become more and more dangerous to people. The already mentioned drone managed to take over 80 images of the hole in Siberia and provide sufficiently detailed footage of the soil layers there. This is how a three-dimensional model of the crater, which is more than 20 meters deep, was built. To build the model, however, Shulin had to lie down at the bottom of the eerie hole and control the drone from there. Photos of the lowest layers confirm what scientists feared. Methane eruptions are at the heart of the formation of the craters. The gas builds up in the cracks of the permafrost and causes the ice to expand until the stress becomes too great and the soil explodes, forming an atypical hole in the landscape. However, many mysteries remain, such as where this methane accumulates. It is possible that it comes from the deep bowels of the earth, but it is possible that it also originates from the upper layers. The permafrost itself is a huge natural reservoir for methane, and it is very possible that its warming is causing the gas to be released in such quantities. Let's not forget that the Arctic Circle is warming about 3 times faster than the rest of the planet. So far, 17 craters have been documented, but Schulin and his colleagues have no idea how many more could be hiding under the snow. He admits that it is a huge difficulty for experts that they cannot predict when and where another such hole in the soil will appear. The scientist points out that while Siberia is still a rather sparsely populated region, the spontaneously appearing craters pose a danger to the scientific teams working there, as well as to the employees engaged in the extraction of fuels. In his opinion, the process of formation of the craters is still something completely new to the experts, and therefore should not be underestimated. We are witnessing a special and very impressive process, Schulin continues his reasoning to CNN. However, for him, this process is as interesting from a scientific point of view as it is terrifying from a purely human point of view. The spontaneous holes in the Siberian tundra suggest that global warming will present us with more and more challenges, some of which are downright dangerous. And after these strange craters, who knows what else awaits us?
Voynich Manuscript. Voynich Manuscript is entitled as World's Most Mysterious Manuscript Ever. It was discovered in 1912 in North Italy. The language, scribe and author of the Voynich Manuscript are still unknown. According to the archaeologists, many pages of this manuscript are missing and only 240 pages remain now. The drawings of different herbal plants are one of the most interesting things that can be found in the Voynich Manuscript. Until now, no one can match these drawings to any known plant species. It is believed that the Voynich Manuscript was written in 15th century. Apart from the herbal section, this mysterious manuscript also contains astronomical, biological, cosmological, and pharmaceutical section. Mount Owen Moa. It was in the year 1986 when a group of archaeologists discovered a claw of a bird while digging down in a cave in New Zealand. The flesh and muscles were still attached to it. Later, the archaeologist confirmed that it is a foot of extinct wingless bird Moa, which disappeared from Earth 2,000 years ago. The wingless Moa was a heavy bird which measure up to 12 feet in height and up to 250 kilograms in weight. Males got hunted to extinction by early humans. This claw can be seen in the History Museum of New Zealand. Sacsayhuman. Sacsayhuman is an ancient walled complex located in Machu Picchu, Peru. The construction of this complex structure was started in 1440 by Emperor Pachacuti. It took more than 100 years for the completion of this structure. The wall is made up of many different types of rocks, including diorite blocks, limestones, and dark andesite. The 600 meters long Sacsayhuman wall have a zigzag structure. Each block of this wall weighs hundreds of tons. Sacsayhuman wall protected famous archaeological tower named Muyu Marka, Sada Marka, and Ponka Marka, also a temple related to Sun. Nazca Lines. Nazca Lines are unusual formation of white lines that can be seen when you make a flight trip over the desert of southern Peru. It is one of the popular UNESCO World Heritage Site in the country. This ancient mysterious formation have shapes of trapezoids, rectangles, triangles and swirls. By making close observation, you can also spot 70 animals, plant structures, and 300 geometrical shapes. The purpose of these lines is still unknown. Archaeologists estimated that Nazca Lines were created by Nazca Indians between 500 BC and 700 AD. So, these ancient drawings remain intact for 2,000 years. A large community of people believe that these lines were formed by aliens for following right path. Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe is the oldest archaeological site in the world, and it is located in Turkey. This construction let you remind the high-level artistic power of Stone Age people around 11,000 years ago. The used limestone pillars are weighing 15 to 22 tons. Those are cut down from huge blocks of rocks. The archaeologists had found 200 enormous pillars during the expedition. This construction is believed to be a gathering place or temple of ancient people. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe helped the archaeologists to make in-depth study about Neolithic revolution. Terracotta Army. When laborers were digging a well in China in 1974 discovered a life-size statue of a soldier, they knew it was something special, but they had no idea what else lay below the surface. They didn't expect that their discovery will become the discovery of the greatest funeral art ever, the Terracotta Army. Archaeologists started excavating and currently think there are as many as 8,000 clay statues. Most are warriors, each with its own facial expression and weapons, and there are full-size terracotta horses and chariots too. The project was created as a mausoleum for the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huangdi, who took the throne in 246 BC. The clay soldiers were buried with him for the protection from different forces after death. This ancient complex have age of around 200 and 200 years. The archaeologist also found different weapons along with the sculptures. They were perfectly arranged within different clay corridors. There are 4 main pits that can be seen inside this archaeological site. Upon them, 3 pits are filled with terracotta army and weapons, and the 4th one remains empty. Many parts of the complex and the tomb of Qin Shi Huang still remains unexcavated. Qin is buried in a tomb at the site that hasn't yet been excavated because of concerns about its stability, but explorations around the edge of it have uncovered statues of dancers and acrobats. Moi Statues, Easter Island. Moi Statues of Easter Islands are one of the most mysterious and iconic archaeological discoveries ever made. These statues are the main attraction in Easter Island, a less remote island of Chile. Moi statues were carved by ancient people of Rapa Nui between 1300 to 1500 AD. There are 288 Moi statues in total situated in different massive stone platforms in the island. Moi statues have height of 13 feet and their weight is 80 tons. The Rapa Nui people used rocks from dead volcano of the island to carve these statues. The D-shaped base of Moi statues allows to move them side by side with support of strong ropes. Stonehenge. Stonehenge is prehistoric, 5,000-year-old monument located in Salisbury City in England. This monument was made up of many small and large stones. The larger stone has a height of 30 feet and weigh up to 25 tons. The actual purpose of this Stonehenge is still unknown. The Stonehenge was constructed between 3000 BC and 2000 BC. For the construction, the Neolithic builders brought huge stones from Preseli Hills, a 150 miles far away location from this mysterious monument. It is believed to be 240 people got buried in this area. Atlantis City. Not found yet, but the lost city of Atlantis someday probably will be the most mysterious archaeological discovery ever. Plato in 360 BC is the one who put forward the first assumption on Atlantis City, which sank in the ocean. Researchers believe that a strong tsunami that hit the city in 10th millennium BC that sank Atlantis City into the ocean. But the actual truth behind Atlantis City is still unknown to archaeologists. The ancient stories claimed that Atlantis was built by Poseidon, the god of sea, which is bigger than today's Asia. The rich city is separated by water rings and land. It is believed that Atlantis City belongs to somewhere of Atlantic Ocean. The researchers are failing to spot the actual location of this city till today.